Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om. Shriman Venkatanatharya Kavitarkika Kesari Vedantacharya Varyo me Sannidhattam Sada Hridi. We are now studying the third chapter of the Paduka Sahasram by Vedanta Deshika. We are studying the 78th. Today we will study the 78th verse of the Paduka Sahasram, which is the 48th verse of Prabhava Paddhati, the third chapter of Paduka Sahasram, which is the chapter about the influence or the effect of the glory of Paduka Sahasram. Vedanta Deshikan says, Astra Bhushana Tayaiva Kevalam Vishwametad Akhilam Bibharti Yaha Aklamena Mani Paduke Tvaya Sopi Shekar Tayaiva Dharyate. So he says, he is addressing the Paduka. He says, Mani Paduke, O Paduka, which is set with gem. So Paduka, which is set with gem. Paduka, that is the footwear of Lord Ranganatha. Mani Paduke. Yaha, whoever. Yaha means that Lord Vishnu. That Lord Vishnu who Kevalam, without any support, because Lord Vishnu is the support of everything. God is the support of everything. There is nothing which is needed by God as support. So Kevalam, alone. Alone in the sense absolute or non-dependent on anybody. Independent. Independent. In that sense alone. Kevalam. Akhilam. Akhilam means entire. Entire world. Vishwam etad akhilam. Etad Vishwam. Etad means this. This Vishwam, universe. So, this universe, Astra Bhushanataya eva. So, Bibharti. So, that Vishnu or that Lord Ranganatha, who is Astra Bhushanataya eva, indeed, as both Astra, weapon, and also as Bhushana, means as ornament. So both as Astra, that is weapon, and ornament, Taya eva, means indeed like that, Bhibharti is lifting this world or bearing this world, this entire universe. So this particular verse is glorifying, like many other verses before, is glorifying the Paduka in a way that Paduka is supposed to be greater than, or Paduka is greater than Lord Ranganatha himself. That is how it is glorifying. Means Vedanta Deshikan is glorifying. So here what is told, O Mani Paduka or O Paduka, which has gem set in it. One who alone independently can bear both the entire universe as both weapon and also ornament. Weapon and also ornament. That particular Lord Vishnu What happened to that Lord Vishnu? Tvaya, by you, that Lord Vishnu is born by you, because you are the Paduka of Lord Vishnu. So you are bearing Lord Vishnu, who bears this entire universe as weapon and ornament. You are bearing this Lord Vishnu as you are bearing this Lord Vishnu, who bears the entire world as ornament or weapon. Aklamena, effortlessly you are bearing. So you also are bearing that Lord Vishnu. That Lord Vishnu is born by you also. Shekarataya eva dharyate. Shekarataya eva means you are also bearing that Lord Vishnu as an ornament for your head. Ornament for your head. Shekarataya eva dharyate. As an ornament for your head. You are also wearing that Lord Vishnu or bearing that Lord Vishnu, who can bear the entire universe or who bears the entire universe as ornament and also weapon. So, but you are bearing that Vishnu effortlessly, aklamena, as an ornament for your head, because Paduka is bearing Vishnu. So it is as an ornament to the head. Now here we have to understand why this reference to Paduka and why the reference to Lord bearing this universe as both weapon and ornament. So here the glory of the Paduka is given in relation to Lord Vishnu, Lord Ranganatha, who supports the entire universe. And that Lord Ranganatha, who is supported by the entire universe, is in turn supported by the Paduka. That is the idea. So in the Vishnu Purana, in Pancharatra and such texts, the entire world has been seen as the weapons and ornaments in the holy body of Lord Ranganatha. So that this particular thing has been summarized by Deshika, Vedanta Deshika, in Adhikara Sangraha. Adhikara Sangraha. So just like a person wearing weapons and jewels does not require any effort, means comparatively, comparing with other kinds of tasks, this wearing weapons or jewels does not require any effort. Similarly, effortlessly, the Lord of this universe, Lord Ranganatha, bears or supports the entire universe effortlessly without any effort. And similarly, Lord's footwear, that is Paduka, also supports Lord or Lord Ranganatha without any effort. Aklamena, without any effort. And so that is what is being hinted at by Vedanta Deshika when Vedanta Deshika says that Shekara Taya Eva Dharyate, that indeed you also bear the Lord Ranganatha as an ornament of your head, Shekara of your head. And so you also effortlessly bear Lord Ranganatha as an ornament. So just like a person wears some kind of a jewel or some kind of a flower on one's head and to enhance one's appearance or beauty. And that wearing does not entail much effort. Of course, you have to buy the flower or the jewel, and you have to also physically put it on your head. But compared to other tasks, this does not entail much effort. So, in the same way, the Paduka bears the Lord, who bears the entire universe effortlessly. So this particular verse is in a Rathodhata Chandas. So it has got 11 syllables in one quarter. So the next verse also is in that same Chandas. The next verse, that is the 49th verse of this particular chapter, 79th verse of the entire Paduka Sahasram, is like this. Rama Pada Sahadharma Charinim Paduke Nikhila Pataka Chidam Tvam Ashesha Jagatam Adhishwarim Bhavayami Bharatadhi Devatam. So here again the Paduka is addressed. Rama Pada Sahadharma Charinim Paduke. So O Paduke, Bharata Adidevatam. Bharata Adidevatam. So for Bharata Adidevatam, thing which is capable or worthy of worship for Bharata. So who is Bharata? Bharata is the brother of Rama, the great brother of Rama. So, O Paduka, that which is worthy of worship for Bharata, Tvam, you, Tvam Ashesha Jagatam Adhishwarim. So that Tvam, you Rama Pada Sahadharma Charini. You who are Rama Pada Sahadharma Charini. So of Sri Ramachandra, Pada, feet of the holy feet of Sri Ramachandra, Sahadharma Charini. One who is with Saha, with, and also one who performs dharma, dharma charini. So it's a she, one who is with and also with the feet, pada, sahadharma charini, one who is with the feet and also performs dharma. So it's not that a person is just staying together, but also performs dharma together. Pada Saha Dharma Charini. That person, Nikhila Pataka Chidam. And also one who, again she, one who can completely remove, Nikhila, completely remove, Pataka, Chidam, remove all the sins. Ashesha Jagatam, and also one who is Ashesha Jagatam, for all the worlds, all the spheres, all the worlds, one who is Adhishwari, one who is Adhishwari, goddess, one who is goddess of all the world, or one who is the person who rules all the worlds. person who rules, or God who rules all the worlds, worlds or universes or spheres. Bhavayami. I think of you, I contemplate of you, on you. Bhavayami. So what is the meaning here? Paduke. Paduke. So I contemplate upon you. I contemplate upon you. Who? Paduka is actually feminine. So I contemplate of you, on you, upon you. Who is what? Bharatadi Devatam. Who is Ramapada Sahadharmacharini. So you are Bharatadi Devatam. You are the supreme God, goddess of Bharata, because Bharata considered you worthy of worship. He brought you and worshipped you. So you are the supreme goddess of Bharata, Bharatadi Devatam. Also, you are the supreme ruler of Adhishwarim of all the worlds. And you are Ramapada Sahadharmacharini. You are the companion. You are the companion of the feet of Rama in performing, in observing dharma. And you, Nikhila Pataka Chidam, you also destroy all the sins. So such a Paduka I contemplate upon you. So there are 4 aspects here of Paduka. That Paduka is inseparable from the feet of Rama while observing dharma. Paduka destroys all the sins. Paduka is the supreme ruler, Adhishwari of all the universes. And the Paduka is the god or goddess of Bharata. So all these 4 aspects of Paduka are explained here. And Paduka becomes an object of contemplation because I contemplate, bhavayami, I contemplate. So it becomes an object of contemplation. And Paduka is Sahadharmacharini. It is the companion of Rama's feet. Ramapada Sahadharmacharini. So Sita Devi, she is the Sahadharmacharini of Ramachandra. And the Paduka of Ramachandra is the Sahadharmacharini of the Pada of Rama. Also, Paduka has the capacity to destroy or dispel all sins. Paduka has the capacity to destroy or dispel all sins. So, the consort of Lord Ranganatha, called Lakshmi, Mahalakshmi, she also has the capacity to Shrinati Sakalan Doshan. So she removes all the defects, all the sins from a person, Mahalakshmi. And the third aspect, or the third quality of Paduka, is that the Paduka is the supreme ruler of all the worlds. So Mahalakshmi also is the supreme ruler of all the worlds. And the last quality here of Paduka is that it was considered supreme goddess by Bharata. Sita also has been described by Hanuman in the Sundara Kanda of Ramayana as Trayanam Bharatadinam Bhratrinam. So, like somebody who is worshipped by all the brothers, like that. So, by this description of Paduka, we can understand as though Vedanta Deshika is here clearly making a very clear indication that the Paduka can be put on the same status or the same level as Mahalakshmi, the consort of Lord Vishnu, the Sahadharmini of Lord Vishnu. And so there are many shlokas or verses in Daya Shataka where Daya is, or compassion, is characterized as a form of Lakshmi. It is characterized as a form of Lakshmi. So particularly in the Daya Shataka, the shloka, 82nd shloka, there we get this idea that Daya is also another form of Mahalakshmi. So here it is Prabhava Paddhati. That means here the glory of the Paduka, that is what is here extolled. Glory of Paduka is extolled. That is Prabhava Paddhati. And so here Paduka Prabhava, that is the glory of Paduka, and the glory of Lakshmi, Mahalakshmi, both are put on the same level. They are considered on the same level. The glory of Lakshmi and glory of Paduka, both are considered on the same level. Now we go to the next shloka, that is the 50th shloka of Prabhava Paddhati, or the chapter detailing the glory of the Paduka of Lord Ranganatha, and 80th verse of the entire Paduka Sahasram. This we now see. So here it is told, Chuda Kapala Vyatishanga Dosham Vimochayishyanniva Vishnu Padyaha Kritadaraha Keshava Padarakshe Bibharti Balendu Vibhushanastvam. So what is told here? Keshava Paduke. Keshava Paduke. That is what is told here. Keshava Paduke. Keshava Padarakshe. So the Padaraksha means Paduka, footwear. Padaraksha means footwear. So Keshava Padarakshe. Footwear of Keshava. Who is Keshava? One who has killed the Keshi Asura is Keshava. That is Sri Krishna or Lord Vishnu. Keshava Padarakshe. Balendu Vibhushanaha. So one who has kept as one's ornament in the head, Vibhushana, Bala Indu. Bala Indu. Bala Indu means a small, that means a waning or a small crescent of moon. Bala Indu. Indu means moon. Bala means in the beginning stage. So Bala Indu Vibhushana. One who has kept on one's head as ornament the crescent, moon crescent. So this is obviously Lord Shiva, Parameshwara, Lord Shiva. So that person, Vishnu Padyaha, that person Vishnu Padyaha, what is Vishnu Padya? Because by touching Hiranyagarbha, Vishnu touched Hiranyagarbha and Ganga came out. So one of the names of Ganga is Vishnu Padya, who came out of the feet of Lord Ranganatha or feet of Vishnu. So Vishnu Padyaha Chuda. Chuda means that which is in the head, on the head. Kapala means the head, that is Kapala means the scalp of head. Kapala. So Chuda Kapala. Chuda Kapala. So one who has kept it on the head, and Kapala means the scalp. Kapala Vyatishanga. Vyatishanga means contact. Kapala Vyatishanga. Contact. Dosham means impurity. Here dosham is impurity. Vimochayashyaniva. As though a person who is removing that, who is freeing that, as a person who is removing it or freeing it. Iva. Vimochayashyan iva. As though is a person who is removing or freeing it. What? The impurity, the blemish which has come to the scalp. So, Krita Adaraha. The one who is Adaraha, one who is showing love. Krita, one who is showing or displaying affection. Twam, you. Bibarti is worn by that person. You are worn by that person. That is the idea here. You are worn by that person. So, what is the total meaning of this verse? That is, O Paduka of Keshava. That means of Lord Ranganatha. One who has crescent moon as an ornament of one's head, that is Paramashiva or Lord Shiva, that person wears you on that person's head. That person wears you on that person's head. And that is Lord Shiva wears you on his head with great respect, great affection. Krita Adaraha. Great respect or affection. As though he or Lord Shiva wants to clean Ganga, which is there. Where is it? It is on Lord Shiva's head, Ganga. And where did Ganga come from? It came from the feet of Lord Ranganatha, Lord Vishnu. So, as though Lord Shiva wants to clean Ganga, cleanse Ganga, why clean it with, why it should be cleaned? Ganga cleans everything. Why should Ganga be cleaned here? Because Shiva thinks that because Ganga has touched his head or his kapala, his scalp or skull, because Ganga has touched the skull of Lord Shiva thinks as though that Ganga has to be purified. So it should touch the Paduka of Lord Ranganatha, or it should touch the feet of Lord Ranganatha from where it is born. But feet means the Paduka of Lord Ranganatha. So that's why it's called Padarakshe, that which protects the feet. So it is as though the imagination is wonderful here. It is as though Lord Shiva wants to cleanse Ganga, purify Ganga, because Ganga has become blemished. It has got impurity because of touching the skull of Lord Shiva. That is the imagination. Lord Shiva, how can Lord Shiva? So it's quite eulogistic. It's a eulogy for the Paduka. Because how will Ganga, which is sitting on the head of Lord Shiva, become impure? Because it touched the skull of Lord Shiva. So that is, it is to say that, see, you are, oh Paduka, you are so pure that even if Shiva thinks that Ganga has become impure because of touching Shiva's head, but you can, he takes you, he bows down and Shiva takes you on his head to cleanse Ganga. Cleanse Ganga. So this is, after this, there are so many shlokas which will be in the Upajati Chandas, Upajati Vritta. And in the earlier also many verses, Vedanta Deshika has explained the respect or adoration or the regard, reverence that Lord Shiva has for Paduka. So here, as I told you, imagination is great, which is called Utpreksha. So the poet, that is Vedanta Deshika, here he goes in a flight of fancy. It's a poetic fancy, flight of fancy, where he says that Paduka has been placed by Paramashiva or Lord Shiva on the head of Lord Shiva, because Lord Shiva thinks that, and also Lord Shiva himself is identified as Balendu Vibhushanaha, one who has crescent moon as ornament, head ornament. And why does Lord Shiva place Paduka on his head? Because Lord Shiva thinks, Lord Shiva thinks that because Ganga touched his skull, Ganga has become impure, and so Ganga has to be purified by touching Paduka to Ganga. So this is the fancy, this is the great Utpreksha, fancy employed by Vedanta Deshika, only to show that Paduka is greater than even Lord Shiva, like that. It is what is being shown by Vedanta Deshika. Balendu Vibhushanaha. So Ganga is so sacred and pure, and it originated from the foot of Lord Vishnu. So it's also called Vishnu Padi. And so Lord Shiva, he is so much anxious about the purity of Ganga, and he is convinced about, or at least seemingly convinced about, the comparative blemish or impurity of one's own, Shiva's own head or skull. So he is anxious that that dosha has to be wiped away. That dosha which has come by the contact of his head and Ganga. And so to counteract that dosha, what does Paramashiva do according to Vedanta Deshika's imagination? He places Paduka on the head, on his head, so that contact with Paduka may remove any kind of dosha or defect, which he does with great respect and love for the love and regard for the Paduka. So Lord Shiva does this with great respect and regard for the Paduka. So here, this is very, this putting of Paduka on the head of Lord Shiva, we have also seen earlier also. And it is, this particular aspect is there in many, it is referred to in many texts, many texts actually. So here, the Kapala should not be taken as the Kapala or skull. Here should not be taken as the skull of Brahma. Because skull of Brahma, it went and stuck to Shiva's head. Because he chopped off, there were 5 heads of Brahma. So Shiva chopped or removed, cut 1 head. And so that should not be taken as Kapala. So here word is Chuda Kapala. Chuda Kapala. And the meaning should be Shiva's own head and Shiva's skull, like that. That should be the meaning. So that skull or head, that Kapala means only Shiva's skull. It cannot be, though such a reference is there that Brahma's 1 head was chopped off by Paramashiva or Lord Shiva. Even though such reference is there, we have to take this skull to belong to Shiva only and not Brahma. So today we will stop here. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Tat Sat Sri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu.